Took my first sip of beer at 11 years old. Unfortunately, I liked it. So occasionally, from that point on, I started occasionally drinking my dad's beer. It wasn't really a problem at that time, or at least I didn't think it was going to become a problem until I got older. Once I got to high school, I'm just fast forwarding here, I got about 10 minutes, so you guys just bear with me. But once I got to high school, my drinking increased pretty heavily. I got involved with marijuana as well, which at that point you figure you're just trying to fit in with all the other kids. I was one of those guys where I was a people pleaser, where if you was happy, I was happy, not realizing that the danger it was doing to my body. Got drafted by the Mets in 1982, 17 years old after I graduated from high school. And my first 2 years playing in the minor leagues was a great experience. I had a good time. Came to the major leagues here in New York at age 19. At that point, when I started having a little bit of success, things started going pretty fast. Got introduced to Manhattan and that lifestyle at 19. At that point, it still was just alcohol, it still was smoking pot. 84, I had a great year on the field, as well as 1985, I had a great year on the field. Unfortunately, in 1986 was when the danger started for myself. The demands on the field became too much. I put a lot of pressure on myself. There was a lot of pressure from the media, which I make no excuses for any of my downfalls or any of my failures. I look at the guy in the mirror, it was totally my doing. But at the same time, along the way, I'll use this as an example. In 1986, I pitched a complete game. We won 3-0. I had 4 strikeouts. The first question would be, what happened? You only had 4 strikeouts, opposed to the complete game. So after that, the drinking increased a lot. I went home. I got introduced to cocaine for the first time. And again, I have a very addictive personality where when I tried it, I thought it was the way I wanted to feel, the way I was supposed to feel, and fell in love with it. Unfortunately, along that way, my numbers on the field went down. There's a lot of failure in my life. I missed a lot of my kids' birthdays that I can't get back. And one of the things that kept me sick for a long time was carrying the guilt and embarrassment around for missing the birthdays, missing the school activities. My numbers on the field obviously started going down, even though I wasn't using when I was playing. But the use that I was doing off the field and the heavy drinking I was doing on the field caused a lot of that, because my work ethic changed. While I approached the game, I still loved the game, but it was changing inside because your body just don't respond as quickly as it will if it's clean and sober. Over 20 years, I battled drugs and alcohol, where I would get clean for a while and I would go back. And a big reason for that was I wanted to change everything. I didn't want to use, I didn't want to drink, but I wanted to keep the same lifestyle. And what I mean by that, I still want to hang out at the clubs. I still want to hang with the same people that use and think I can do something differently. But every time, it's just a matter of time before it caught up with me. And each time that I went back, it wasn't starting over. I was starting from where I left off. And it just got worse and worse. Unfortunately, I found myself being incarcerated, which was a very tough time for myself. Anytime you're incarcerated, it's tough. But being incarcerated at age 40, where you have young kids, is very tough. It's a very difficult time of my life. I thought that was my bottom. Unfortunately, when I got out, things got well for a while, and the same thing. I wasn't doing the thing the program tells you to do, and what I mean by that, I didn't have a sponsor, I wasn't going to meetings, I didn't have a support group, it was just myself living, so basically I was a time bomb just waiting to happen. I got married for the second time in 2009. Things was going well at the beginning, and then eventually, as you say, if nothing changed, nothing changes, where as I mentioned, I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to do to support myself, and I knew better. Through the course of my life, I had been in 5 rehabs at that time, so I knew the things I was supposed to do, but I still had the little voice in my head telling me, I'm unique, I can do it differently. I don't need to go to meetings, I don't need to do the 12-step. I kept getting the same results every time. A big life changer for myself, just to fast forward a bit, was I got questioned a lot when I did the Dr. Drew show, Celebrity Rehab. For myself, the main reason for me doing that show wasn't because of the going there to be on TV. It was a situation where I wanted to remove the mask that I was wearing. Well, I was fooling myself. Everybody knew that what I was doing, even my family. I wasn't fooling anybody but myself. I just had to get clean with myself and be real. This is who I am. I'm an addict. I have a problem. I'm not an active addict, but these are things that happen if I don't take care of myself. So by me going on the show, it gave me a new way of life where I was able to tell my story and also share with those who want to know how I was feeling, what was going on in my mind during those course of times. And by doing that, that helped me come clean with myself to start my journey. I did a book after that, Dr. Memoir, that came out last June. A big thing where I just shared my whole story. It was very tough to do and relive some of those moments, but your secrets will keep you sick. So I had to, if I was going to come clean, I had to come clean with a lot of things. And once I got the okay from my older kids, I have adult kids, and my mom, if they was okay with that and reliving those moments, they gave me my blessings to do, and then so I did it. By doing that, it was great therapy for myself. March 11th of this year gave me 3 years clean and sober by the grace of God. Now I have a sponsor, Do the Steps. I have a great support group that I stay in contact with. I'm also in therapy that I see, once every 2 weeks, just to keep my balance. I attend my meetings, I share my meetings, I do a lot of service work. Like coming to these events is what keep me going, and that's just part of my life. It just gets to a point where you don't have to think about it. It's just part of your routine. And if I miss one of those things, whether it's a meeting, contacting my sponsor, my support group, you just get out of whack a little bit. Things ain't right. It's no different if some of you guys that are not in recovery, if you're hungry and you're not, nourishing your body, you just have that weird feeling. It's the same thing for me. If I'm not feeding myself with recovery, it's just that weird feeling. And today, seeing the kid come up with I think it's Isaiah Bird, there's no excuses. To me, that's a great message, because now being around, there's really no excuses. And what I mean by that, those I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, supposed to meet and stand in contact with my sponsor, I won't have that problem at the end, because for me, a relapse starts way before you pick up that drink. It's dealing with the problems that lead to that. And that was always my track record of doing that. And just to share with you guys real quick how the danger of drugs and the disease of drug and alcohol can be. And what took away one of the best days of my life was in 1986. When we won the World Series, which should have been for his baseball, one of the greatest days of my life, I actually turned into the worst day of my life, or one of the worst days, because I was to celebrate and calling my parents and sharing that moment with them. Next call, you call your drug dealer, and next thing you know, you're out with some guys in an apartment, you're getting high, you missed the parade that you live for. Those are things you can't redo. And that just shows the power of this disease and the things you have to take care of yourself daily. Daily things you have to do. Today, the support's great. The support I get from you guys has been tremendous. I can't thank you guys enough. And not only from a baseball standpoint, but just my life. As I mentioned earlier, you're dealing with a life here. And my thing is, obviously, by speaking to schools and going to colleges and talking and sharing with my story with kids, if you could just get one guy to understand and get the message, you actually touch many lives, because that guy would carry that message along. And I always say, my higher power kept me here for a reason, because I've done a lot of things that could have been gone. People have done a lot less that's not here today that I know that was in recovery. So I think my calling now is, obviously I had the baseball part, but now it's a different calling for myself. And I'm just taking a day at a time. But the only way I can carry that message is taking care of myself first, and then I can deliver the message. So once again, thank you guys for letting me share my story with you guys. Have a good day. Thank you.